touch you, kiss you. Gonna fall in love, shawty. Hold on, this ain't no love song. More like a cut song. You say your day was long, but tell daddy what's wrong. I'ma tell you one time, just relax and unwind. Whisper sweet nothings, now you're blushing, chills down the spine. Oh yeah, you're hot and tempting. Oh no, not pretty Ricky, but when you grind.
Okay, so if you haven't guessed yet, clearly this video is going to be about some sort of sexual encounter. It's not going to be like in like a freaky way. I'm just asking a question in general, really. I really want to know what people's views are going to be about, like, would you marry a virgin? I know when I first say it, you think, oh, I mean, yeah, sure, that's what you're supposed to do. That's the initial thought. When you actually think about it, like, would you marry a virgin? Like, not to say it in a bad way, I really don't have, I'm not going to say I don't have an opinion about it, because I do, but it's neither left or right. It's kind of stuck in the middle, because there's pros and cons to, like, either way you go. So, as far as, like, just thinking about it, like, how would you feel if, like, on a man's point of view? Okay, how would you feel if you married a virgin and, like, you guys were together? I can understand that. What if you weren't a virgin and then your wife is virgin, right? So you're pretty much teaching her everything she's going to know about sex, right? So what if one day you feel like she wants to experience, like, you feel like she just comes to the fact that she feels like she hasn't experienced enough to know if she's even having a good sex life. Like, how would she know the difference between you or anybody else? Like, how would she know if she was having good sex because she's never had sex with anybody but you? What if that made her mind, like, wander off to think maybe she should, you know, go out and do her thug thizzle? Mind you, from my previous videos, people that follow me know that thug thizzle is clearly my word. I'm going to trademark it. It's thug thizzle. I feel thuggish when I say it, so just bear with me. Anyway, so, like, but on the other hand, that's what you're supposed to do. I think, in my personal opinion, if both people were virgins, then it will work out, because you don't know no better. I mean, not to say it like, you know, that, but you really don't. You're naive to anything else. If you're both virgins, then you're teaching each other. I mean, it's what you're supposed to, like, be your first experience when you get married on your wedding night, this, that, and the third. And it's going to be a learning experience for both of you guys, instead of just, like, the man or the woman going through the whole, I'm not going to say traumatizing, because it really shouldn't be, but, you know, whatever the situation may be. If the guy's a virgin and the woman is marrying a guy that's a virgin and she's not a virgin, then that's a different situation. I feel like, as a man, I don't think he would be secure to, like, he's not going to say it, but I don't think he's going to be, like, feel like he's not going to know if he met her needs, pretty much. Like, of course, it's probably going to be really brief, and of course, her being a woman, and if you're getting married, like, sex to a woman is like 70% mental, so she's not going to be like, oh, you suck. No, she's not going to tell her husband that. So I was gonna wonder, like, is he fulfilling her needs sexually as a partner in the marriage? If he's never experienced anyone else, like, and he doesn't, like, have any feedback from anyone else. Of course, your wife's not gonna tell you, unless y'all just had a relationship like that. Your wife's not gonna tell you, oh, well, pretty much you suck, but we're married now, so there's nothing we can do about it, unless I'm gonna cheat on your ass. And I just don't see someone telling their significant other or anything close to that. I think it's kind of double standard, because if a guy marries a woman that's a virgin, it's looked at as like, okay, it's okay for him not to be a virgin because he's a guy, and guys are like, you know, I don't know, they're expected to have sex at the age, by the time you're 16, you're just supposed to have had sex for some reason if you're a guy. But if you're a girl, okay, that's the thing. You're supposed to, hold off or whatever, not have that many sex partners, which I don't think you should. As a woman, I don't think you should like exude yourself to that many people. But like I said, it's a double standard as far as that goes. I think the guy would feel like, oh yes, my wife's a virgin, I'm gonna be the first one, blah 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 blah, whoop de whoop at first. But then after he gets into the situation and sees that, okay, yeah, your mind starts to play games with you. You start thinking like, okay, is she gonna wonder what's it like to be with somebody else? Like, is she gonna wonder like, I mean, am I doing the most? Did she expect it to be more like her outlook on sex could have been so much more than what it really is, and then when she gets to it, it's just like, oh, this is what it is. Or like it could have been the other way around. It could have been she could not have expected it to be what it was, and it was like too much for her. She might not enjoy sex like he would. You don't know if you're compatible as sex partners. It's a lot to look into. So it's kind of like you taking a chance, but then it's kind of messed up to say you taking a chance, because that's really how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like that. You're not supposed to have sex outside of marriage, but that's not even, people don't even follow those rules anymore. Those like ancient, like that's rare as hell, but that's still how like life is supposed to go, of course. On a woman's point of view from it, like if a woman was to marry a male that's a virgin, which is so rare, I don't know where you're gonna find that at. I just don't know, which goes back to the double standard. Not to say that all men are whore bags, but that's just, you don't see guys that are in their 20s or, about something in life that are virgins, that have never had sex with a woman in their life, their full grown ass life. And they've had friends, influences, all types. They went through all of that and still not had sex. And guys are really weak-minded for the most part. So, yeah, if you find that, snatch his ass up. But in the same sense, you're going to have to are you going to be competing with his imagination? Because even though he hasn't had sex, I'm pretty sure he thought about it. I'm pretty sure he's heard stories about it. Of course, his friends are going to talk to him and boost his head up and while they're trying to get him to have sex, they're going to tell him all kinds of stories about how it's supposed to be. So, what if his fantasy sex life doesn't meet, y'all don't meet up to that, and you have to be the one to break it to him, this is what it is, Or if he's so, dull that, it's not really much that you guys can get into. What if he's a boring sex partner? What if he only, wants to do, one thing, and you're, used to something totally different? Is that gonna make you weary? Is that gonna make you, your mind wander off to, your ex or your ex-ex or something like that? Not even in a mental sense, but in a physical sense. Is your body gonna want them? It's kind of fucked up. But it can happen, just being real about it. I don't know. Would I marry a virgin? If someone was to ask me that question, I would say yes. Just because I'm a risk taker in general. And I feel like anything's possible. Anything can be taught. It'll be different. But I know myself, I wouldn't, if you're married to someone and you've already committed your soul and your spirit to them, a physical thing, whether you could have a majorly great sex life with someone that's inexperienced, just as well as somebody that has had multiple sex partners. Just because you've had multiple sex partners doesn't mean you're a pro at the sex game. That doesn't guarantee you a ticket in porn star heaven. No, that just means you have multiple sex partners. You could have had multiple sex partners and your sex been garbage multiple times, or you could have one sex partner and it be thebomb.com. So either way it goes, it's just like a numbers game. The chances are higher for you to have better sex, supposedly by how many people you had sex with. I don't know, I guess. But then there's those natural born people that just, I mean, you don't have to have any experience. You just know what to do. So you could look up and marry somebody that's a virgin that just knows what to do. Or just like you could look up, be very unlucky and marry somebody that has had sex, but y'all just agreed upon yourself not to have sex before you got married, and then you have sex and it's so garbage, but you were tricked because you thought just because they weren't a virgin, they talked about how experienced they were going to be, up to your standards. It could happen. So, I know. I would rather have someone that I could teach everything I wanted them to know and have a very open relationship. When I say open relationship, I mean like we talk to each other about what's going on, like what they like and what they don't like. If you learn a person mentally, it'll be easier to please them physically, I feel like. That's about it. People just really overrate the whole sex game thing. I think it's very overrated. And purity is downplayed. Like, sex is overrated and purity is totally downplayed. It's like something that people are looking at like, oh, you should just go ahead and get it over with, blah, blah, blah. It's not sacred anymore. So that's why it's so rare. But let me know your views on it. Everybody's probably going to have a different opinion or a different outlook on it than I may have. So, hit me up. And let's listen to this song because I like it. And it's like thebomb.com. And I remember when I was little, I used to always play it. And it was just like, oh my God, Trey Songz. Okay, so clearly we had technical difficulties. Hold on.
I know y'all want to split the man.